Hello, everyone. This is Alan Fine. I'm here with John Waggoner, the chairman and CEO of, I'll say it now, American Queen Steamboat Company, but also with them is David William Kelly, who is the executive vice president of hotel operations and new build. And we are here in a boatyard. What town?
Gulf Island in Houma, Louisiana.
Okay. Because we are looking at the American Countess and Victory 1 and Victory 2, and this is Insider Travel Report. First thing I wanted to ask you, since this is your first time with us,
yes.
we've been talking with Ted Sykes all this time. Just give us a little bit on him, because we wish him a lot of luck.
Yeah, no, Ted has done a great job for us. As I said, Ted was a great face of the company, a great president. Ted just wanted to start spending more time with his family. His wife travels an awful lot. They were missing each other. He still lived in Chicago. Our office is in New Albany, Indiana, maritime capital of the world. So it was just, he said, hey, John, I just need to spend more time with my family. I think I've done everything I can do for the company. And he said, hey, besides, people love seeing your face on camera, so why don't you start doing the press?
So here he is.
Said to me, so here I am.
Great. So we wish him well. And so we are now here because just over yonder is so it was originally a casino ship.
A casino, yes, sir.
Named what?
The Kingsville Queen.
Right. And what's going on over there? Who wants to start?
David can start.
So we took the Kingsville Queen. Last year we brought her down here under her own power, and she's been sliced in the middle in two. She's currently undergoing a 60-foot mid-body extension being added to her, and that's going to extend the vessel's length to 360 feet.
So, I mean, just being a master myself and being interested in boats. So, one of the reasons we bought the Kingsville Queen, it was a great platform. It had great bones. So, in the engine room, it has 4 Caterpillar 3516s. Those Caterpillars run each a 1550 kW generator. So, off that generator, then, we have 3 Z drives that are steerable Z drives for ship's propulsion. We'll add, it's got a tunnel thruster or pancake thruster right now, but we'll put 2 tunnel thrusters on. But then, to make it a historical paddle wheel boat, we're actually adding a real paddle wheel with 2 1,000 horsepower electrical engines. So you'll have a paddle wheel that has 2,000 horsepower to really push the vessel,
right,
through the water. And so an actual working paddle wheel.
But now let's talk about the comparison to American Queen. Mm-hmm. I'm hearing all the same public spaces, but
all the same public spaces, but the decor is going to be slightly different. We're sort of transitioning from the Victorian style in the Queen and the more contemporary style in the Duchess, so we're going to have a very transitional style over there. Okay. She's not going to be quite as modern as Duchess, but she's going to be a bit more modern than the Queen.
Okay. You want to talk about time frame?
Sure.
So when's it going? When?
It'll be christened in April of 2000.
April 2020.
2020. Yeah. I forget what year it is because we're so busy. I lose years at a time off my life.
Okay, and then we've published this, but we might as well go over it. The itineraries that you guys are planning.
Yeah, so the itineraries will be very similar to what we have on the American Queen, American Empress. Mostly Mississippi, Ohio, Tennessee, Cumberland. Our most popular trip is from New Orleans to Memphis, and then Memphis to New Orleans. But then we'll also do, Memphis to Louisville, up to Pittsburgh, and then to St. Louis, and then all the way to St. Paul, Minnesota. And then we have usually 1 or 2 trips a year that do the entire mighty Mississippi, 3 weeks from New Orleans. Yeah, the world tour around the Mississippi River cruise, So yeah, but you get the entire length of the entire Mississippi.
Okay. Now let's move on to the Victory 1 and 2, which we are now sitting in Victory 2.
Yes.
And do you want to? You took us for a tour. Can you take us for the same tour verbally, and we will show them?
Okay. So we started this morning in the restaurant. The restaurant's been semi-renovated here. We plan to do some more upgrades to the venue. From there, we push around to a few of the staterooms. We've obviously got lots of travel partners and guests who are going to travel with us who have been on our existing fleet. And there's an expectation there of what we provide there that we'll follow that through onto this brand as well. So in terms of the hotel operation, we've upgraded all the linens, the bedding, the mattress program's the same as what the American Queen Steamboat Company has. The food offerings are going to be very similar, same number of courses, same number of choices, etc. It's an all-inclusive product, which is a slight deviation from what we do at American Queen. It's all-inclusive with your alcoholic drinks, your spirits, your wine, your beer, your tours, and basically everything on board is included here. So it's a good advantage of this particular fleet. Moving further up through the vessel, we've got some upgrades to do in public lounges. A lot of the fabric of the vessel is going to change, new upholstery.
From what we're showing them.
From what we're showing, new carpets, there's some new drapes all over the vessel will change. And then when you go up to the top of the ship, one of them has already been converted, but we're taking the outside bar on the stern and enclosing that fully to make a restaurant that seats 50 guests.
Let's talk about the when they'll be ready, within 2 weeks of each other, and then where are they going? Who wants to handle that one?
Well, they're going to be ready by around April 21st. We'll take the first vessel from here and she'll deadhead all the way up to Portland, Maine. The Victory 2 will follow 2 weeks later. She'll do the same run up there. And then the itineraries go from Portland, Maine. We go out into Toronto, up round Nova Scotia, Halifax, Canada, and into the Great Lakes. We do trips from Detroit, Cleveland and Chicago. So.
If you've been looking over my shoulder, I was going to ask you what the long-term plan was for the company. Are you going to have a boat for each child? That's what we were talking about.
Well, we've been yakking about that. So, the history is when we launched the American Queen, Priscilla Presley was the godmother, and we were very pleased and proud to have her. For the American Empress, my lovely wife Claudette got to be the godmother. For the American Duchess, it was one of our daughters, Marissa, that was the godmother. And we christened it with Kentucky bourbon. Bill Samuels, the chairman of Maker's Mark, presented her with bourbon. So for the American Countess, it'll be our next daughter, which will be Angie. She'll get to be the godmother. We'll also christen it with Kentucky bourbon. It'll have the home port of Louisville on the stern, so we'll bring in the whole Midwestern theme with that. So yeah, we're very excited about it, Alan.
We're going to 90,000 travel agents. What would you like them to know?
I would like them to know that we really, really, really appreciate your support, that we couldn't fill our vessels without your support, that when you book on American Queen Steamboat Company on any of our boats or Victory Cruises, we will do our absolute best to exceed your guest expectations so that your guests will come back to you and say, thanks for putting me on those boats because we had such a wonderful time. And, by the way, we want to book again right now while they still have space because I hear those guys sell out awfully quickly.
Yes. Now, logistically, is it one website or two? Are you combining them?
Yeah, no, two websites. So so we're looking at kind of, holding company up here with two different brands. And part of the reason is, when you say American Queen Steamboat Company, a steamboat has, it gives you an idea of, hey, I'm going to go on the river, I'm going to have a steamboat. These are really coastal, 1900 era design coastal steamers. So Victory Cruises works well, but I'll just say we'll follow, people like Carnival that have Carnival Holdings with several brands underneath. So we don't have 10 brands yet, but we only have 2, but you have to start somewhere.
So right now, to book, they go to each website separately?
Each website separately. The good news is it goes into the same reservation department, the same reservations.
Same phone number?
Same phone number. So, yep. I take that back. I have to look. It might be a slightly different phone number, but it's the same res center.
Okay.
So.
Okay. All right, so and then the travel agents would like to know if there are any incentives they should be aware of.
Yeah, so, Bob Salmon heads up our sales department. He's always got incentives. He'll also be doing webinars. He'll be meeting with travel agents. And, you can always talk to Bob, but he's always got incentives, especially for really good travel agents.
And so now, Admiral, you have this fleet.
I do.
When did you start? Did you have toy boats in the bathtub? I mean, what got you into this?
Yeah, so the crazy story is, and I know we only have probably a minute or so, and it's really a 45-minute story. But I started working on sport fishing boats when I was in the 6th grade out of San Diego. Fell in love with the ocean, and have gone from working on sport fishing boats to being a captain on sport fishing boats to commercial boats, offshore oil boats to dinner cruise boats to casino boats to high-speed car ferries to high-speed passenger ferries and now to overnight cruise boats. So the boats. I'm just the boat guy. Yeah, I'm just the boat guy.
Yeah, okay. Now, as you're sitting here, you think about, oh, shucks, I forgot to talk about that. I'll edit it right in. Is there anything else you want to cover?
I guess the thing we would like to say is, look, American Queen Steamboat Company, there's a reason that American's in our name. We're an American company. We wrap ourselves in the American flag. And it's really great because right now, when you talk about local economic development, Alan, as we sit here right now, we have 5 boats in the shipyard that are creating jobs for shipyard workers, U.S. shipyards, something to be proud of. We'll have, when you look at right now, we employ about almost 900 U.S. American crew, something really to be proud of. So, we're always doing our job to stimulate the economy, to put people to work, to give them good paying jobs with good benefits. And, it's something we're really very, very proud of.
And also a reminder, no passport needed, no language barriers.
And you get to pay in U.S. dollars. And if anything goes wrong, you're near a U.S. doctor, a U.S. hospital, you never lose sight of land. I go right into my sales speech. It just rolls right off my tongue.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you both for spending time with us.
Thank you, sir.
And this is Alan Fine for Insider Travel Report.